Hello.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. Just, relaxing, enjoying my little time away from the 9 to 5.
Oh, that's nice.
I
I'm so
really
happy
am.
for you.
I know, I so needed it. I'm so looking forward to spending some time in the beach and, I don't want to
hmm
I won't have none of my technologies with me. I'll just have my cell phone. That's about it. But,
hmm
be on that beach, on that sand and just letting the water hit me and stuff. I'm so looking forward to that.
Okay. I'm just, I'm at home. Weekend. I got to go to work tomorrow. You
Mm.
know, spent time in the pool, exhausting myself.
Yeah, I was thinking I would get up early and go in the pool at LA Fitness tomorrow before, people pee in it.
hmm That's what I do. I get there at 5 o'clock because that's when they open. Well, I don't know about tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow, right? They open at 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get there at 5 o'clock, hop in the pool, you know, before it starts smelling too, you know,
Urine,
ble- bleached. The reason why you smell a
chlorine.
lot of chlorine is because somebody peed in it or did something in it. When you smell it too
Yeah.
much, it's activating the chlorine to kill the bacteria. So if you're smelling it, that's why it smells so strong at a public pool. Just so you know.
I've heard that. That's why I'm like I said that I want to go in there before other people get in and start urinating in it.
Yep, yep.
So.
But I spent my time in the pool this weekend. Me and Oliver were doing push-ups since it's easier to do it in the pool.
Oh, nice.
Do push-ups.
Nice.
I'm so sore. I was sore from Thursday when I went in the pool with him, but it just got worse. I feel heavy. Like the gravity is definitely weighing on me now.
Aw.
It's all right. It's all right. It's the difference between being in water and being on land is a big difference. Like your body feels different.
Trust me, I know. I'm looking forward to that when I go to the
You're
beach.
looking forward to that? Okay.
I'm so, I'm like, I so need it. I know the last time when I went to the beach last year, Orange Beach, and my
Mm-hmm.
cousin convinced me to go a little deeper in the water. I'm just cool, just
Staying by
under
the
the,
shoreline.
yeah. So when she convinced me to do that, I'm glad that she did. I mean, I was kind of frightened, because, sharks and whatever.
Uh-huh.
But I let go of that fear, and I really enjoyed it. Like, I just loved how I just felt the energy in my body afterwards. I,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I was on a different wavelength, to tell you the truth, and I look forward to experiencing that again.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Sounds fun.
Oh
I,
man,
I I'll stay by the shoreline. I ain't going any deeper.
yeah,
I can swim, but it's not my best skill set. So only
yeah.
for immediate dangers will I accelerate my speed in swimming. So.
There you go. That's usually how it
Mm-hmm.
goes down. Before we
Mm-hmm.
get into our let everybody know where to find us, let's grab this comment real quick from Carol.
I just want to say Pikachu.
I love my
That-
Pikachu hat.
that's your vacation hat.
That is my vacation hat, Pikachu.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, before we get into our topic today of episode 39, learn the laws while traveling abroad. So
Yes,
before we get
yes.
into that, Azima, where can everyone find you?
And you can find me on TikTok and Instagram as Azima the Only. That's Azima the Only. And you can find me on YouTube and Facebook as Ozidi Wellness and Fitness. That's Ozidi Wellness and Fitness. And where can we find you, Jovani?
So yeah, you will find me on all platforms, which is Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at Camp Jogo Fit. That's KampJogofit. And you could also subscribe to us on YouTube as the Wine Fine Podcast to
Mhm.
see to listen to older episodes, and you'll also have access to links of anything that we have spoken about in the show or prior
Yes.
shows. So
Exactly.
today, right? So came across this story of a 29-year-old woman from Texas, a social media influencer that's known as Sassy Trucker. She was arrested in Dubai.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so she was arrested for screaming on, yelling at the rental car employee. And I did a little digging into the story and found it to be very quite interesting. So
Okay.
in the midst of this story that I seen on CBSNews.com, it was saying that Dubai is known for having rental car scams and stuff, that they'll try to say that you owe X amount of dollars and you don't. And
Uh-huh.
I could see how that could make someone mad, you know?
Yeah, I can see that too.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. However, then on the flip side, you kind of want to tread lightly in those type of a country like that.
Mhm.
And I just want to share like two personal like situations where that probably is the reason why I don't have no interest in like going to Dubai. So first, I remember when I was a little girl seeing this movie Not Without My Daughter, right? So it was
Mhm.
basically Sally Field, her character was married to this Iranian man, and he convinced her to go over there, where she basically lost, like, or at least they
All her
made her
rights.
think. Well, at least they made her think that she lost all her rights, because they was like, oh, well, once you marry an Iranian man, you
Mhm.
automatically become Iranian and stuff. So they was gonna like arrest her in the street because she had like public affection with her daughter and stuff. Of course, that's not frowned upon over here, but over there, that was a big deal. And then like just flash forward to like when I was on like freshman global studies class, I remember them like talking about how the Indian culture was. And I just found it interesting because, they feel like the men are more of a, beneficial to the country and everything. And
Mhm.
it's a virtue to have give birth to a lot of boys and everything. And,
Yeah.
the sad part about it, women over there, of course, with what I was reading, women would get go to a doctor where they could see what the sex is before they go and get any further along. And once they do find out it was a girl, a lot of times they would go ahead and get an abortion and stuff.
Mm.
Or
Mm. Mm.
if the wife's family doesn't pay her dowry to the husband, then
Mhm.
a lot of times, a lot of them had like kerosene stoves, and with having the kerosene stones, you risk having more fires. So even though he may have set her on fire for the family not paying her dowry, he can still make it so it looks like it was an accident with the kerosene stove.
Mm.
So,
A
those
lot of
all those
accidents
countries,
now.
yeah, all those countries, Dubai, Iran, India, they're not too far from each other, and they don't really treat women nice over there. A lot of those countries over there, like the women have like the same rights as like children. So
Mhm.
I have like no interest in going to those countries over there. You know,
Yeah. I
so
I have a movie that when I hear stories like this, I think about those that movie. Y'all ever seen a movie called Broke Down Palace with Claire Danes in it?
no, I
And
haven't. That sounds interesting.
yeah, it's about these two girls. They basically they weren't honest with their parents. They told their parents they were going to Hawaii. They just graduated
Mm.
high school, but they went to Thailand
Oh my goodness,
and
of all places.
they met a boy who told them, blah blah this and that, and they did what he was telling them to do, and they were trying to go to some other country and got caught in Thailand with narcotics, and they
Ooh,
ended up
no.
going in jail. The two girls went to jail. The boy wasn't even a part of the whole story after that. So, and it was just miserable and scary, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to visit foreign countries, because if you don't know their rules, you really could get caught out there. But I figured, drug trafficking, I'm assuming the girls didn't know they were doing it. They were just helping this boy out that they liked. But you know you don't know what extent of drugs they would find to be illegal, and therefore, I could be bringing my own prescription drugs and get in trouble for that. So it's not. I don't find it fun to go somewhere and deal with somewhere's problems when I have my own problems in the U.S.
Well,
You know,
a lot of them, a lot of these places, how they believe, they'll say ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
and
So,
it's true. It's the same thing in the U.S. Ignorance of the
yeah,
law is not an excuse.
yeah. So,
That's for sure.
indeed. So then we thought, okay, so what about these other countries? Because here we are, you hear about all these people traveling to all these other countries,
Mm-hmm.
and they have some interesting laws. Um,
Yes.
so we came up with a list of the most traveled to countries, right?
Yeah. In the
So
world.
in the world. So we only did like a couple of them. It's like France, Mexico, Italy, China, and then some other places that we was like WTF on the laws or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So take France for instance, right? So it's safe to say that yeah, legal drugs, anywhere is pretty much, against the law, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But with France, you can expect long jail sentences and heavy fines if you get caught with weed or like cocaine over there. And the fine is $4,450 in US dollars. So, that
That's a lot.
that is a lot.
Somebody gonna have to mortgage their house to get me out of there, and I don't have
Pretty
time for
much. And then, yeah, of course, anywhere, DUI, that's immediate jail. So, if you're thinking about, enjoying yourself in France, you may want to think twice about, indulging in
mm-hmm.
spirits.
Yeah.
And then you can't automatically assume that they're going to call the U.S. Embassy if you get arrested over there in France. And drones are highly regulated over there. So, you know. Don't ever think that
Mm-hmm.
you want to have a drone over there, or else that could be, that can definitely
Mm-hmm.
land you in jail too.
Why would you carry that much equipment with you on vacation?
I don't know. You know how people do the darndest things,
Like, I'm gonna take my drone, my water balloons, my
Yeah,
firecrackers.
yeah, people do the darndest things.
That's
So,
just a bit much.
yeah, yeah. And so, that information I basically found on travel.state.gov, content, travel international, travel country. It's a long site, but it was
Mm-hmm.
basically specifically for France because I'm like, oh, wow, that's number one on the list for the people that travel there the most. So, hey, you
Mm-hmm.
got to know that. Not only that, with France, I always think about the movie Taken, you know
Yeah.
because it basically took place in there. And also in France, they also recommended that you arrange a ride to pick you up prior to touching down on there. So it's highly frowned upon to be waving a taxi down over there. And I could see why, because in the movie Taken, that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much what Liam Neeson's character's daughter did when they lied and said, the cousins was gonna be there. They end up not being there, and then they seen this
Exactly.
charismatic young French guy. What?
Mm-hmm.
Who would have thought he was a part of a sex trafficking ring? He was so cute.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just some stuff that people just really need to look out for, and just not to be naive, because it definitely goes down over there when it comes to trafficking and whatnot. So.
Mm-hmm. There's one thing about France I found a little interesting, because it was like backwards. You know how somebody says something to you and you're like, okay, so are you saying that I can't be this? All right, so it's illegal to cover your face in France,
Oh, wow.
right? So, that's just basically it. It says it's illegal to cover your face. So I'm like, who covers their face? If you're a certain religion and you cover your face, they're basically telling you you can't do your religion where you cover your face. And one I know is like being Muslim. Some women, they cover their face. So if it's kind of contradicting to the belief that people have. So maybe there's not a lot of Muslim people in France because of that, or the ones that cover their face. And also
Probably
is
not. I doubt that.
like, remember that episode? There was an episode of Seinfeld when they went to jail because they didn't help. That's basically, if you don't help somebody who's gotten into a car accident or they look like they're in distress, you can go to jail for that.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I find that to be it's funny, but can you imagine going somewhere else? I guess, in the case of the Seinfeld episode, they were not in New York. They were in another state, but held to the same standards as France. You have to help.
Hmm.
You can't turn a blind eye to somebody who's being robbed or got into a car accident. You're like, oh shit, they got into a car accident. Well, I'm gonna keep on going. You have to assist.
That's crazy. So you can't go over there with the New York attitude. When they be having those memes of people on
Mm-hmm.
the train and you be seeing somebody laying on the floor, and then they talk
Mm-hmm.
about this
They
is
will
the
step
level
right
of
over them.
of unbothered I want to be. So a lot of New Yorkers will be going to jail and stuff if they go over there with that.
Well, exactly. But they have pretty similar First Amendment rights there as the United States. So, you know, say what you want, just don't do all the other stuff.
No. And
Right?
then let's move over to Mexico, right? So you remember when
Mm,
you mentioned about the whole prescription drugs? So
yes.
you have to have, and I think it's the same thing with a lot of countries, but Mexico really made this like known. Like you must have the paperwork for your prescription drugs. It's prohibited to have stimulants with codeine, Actifed,
Mm-hmm.
Sudafed, and Vicks inhalers. And
Vixen healers.
yeah.
Mm.
Yep. 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 So, and you could be detained for up to a year for all drugs with a minimum sentence of 10 years.
Wow, minimum.
Minimum, yeah. And
Mm-mm.
public urination is definitely frowned upon over there. I believe, you can't do that in Dubai either.
Mm-hmm.
So, no
Why would
urinating in
anybody want to
public.
do any of that? Like, ugh,
Well, people do it over here freely because,
we nasty.
I'm not gonna say we nasty, but it's just not. If you don't get caught,
Mm-hmm.
you know. I'm sure it is, illegal. It's illegal over here to do it, but people don't get caught, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not. I, I guess if you pass by law enforcement and they was to come across that, then yeah, you're gonna be reprimanded or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, nobody's really getting arrested for that. At least not that I've witnessed.
Okay.
Also, it's a lawbreaker for men if you're barelated. So it's not a good thing to wear shorts over there despite it being really
Hot
hot.
as I was say hot as balls. Um, they said no, smoking and vaping is banned in all public areas, and basically, I don't know. I feel like a lot of countries, they don't have rules on same-sex marriage, but like if they see it, it's not like they're gonna protect you if anything crazy happens to you.
Ah,
You know what I mean? Like it's
yeah.
just there's no protections. So they said basically no public displays. I wouldn't even publicly display if I was a heterosexual, to be honest, because I don't
No,
I
because
don't I
yeah,
don't I don't trust nobody.
you
And
should.
they basically don't have First Amendment rights, so they control their media. They do what they want to get things going in the direction that they want government wise, so if the media don't have a say, I don't think the regular citizens there too don't have a say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta be treading lightly in these countries. But
Mm-hmm.
here's what I found out about Italy, Rome. You can get arrested for buying counterfeit goods. Like,
Don't get that fake Gucci bag.
yeah, no, not no fake Gucci or no fake Dolce Gabbana, none of that. Cause yeah, you definitely get arrested for that. It's a legal offense, even if you don't know.
Wow, can you imagine? Ugh.
Yeah, somebody's
Like, this
trying to
bag is
say,
fake. Put her in jail. I'm like, I got it from Chinatown in New York.
nah, I'm like, nope, no thanks.
To
And
be.
then I think this is pretty much probably illegal in a lot of places. Drinking on the street at night.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but a funny one that I came across was no touching the genitals in public in Rome.
Okay.
Like,
In Rome, is Rome controlled by the Vatican? Is that why?
probably, yeah, it
Okay.
is.
All
Yeah.
right. So,
And then,
okay.
of course, no jaywalking,
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot sit on the Spanish steps. There is no swimming or putting your feet in the fountains.
Mm-hmm.
And just like in France, well, not just like France, you need a specific license to fly a drone in Italy.
What's up with these drones?
I
I
don't
just don't see it
know.
that serious. Like, why would somebody bring a drone on a vacation? It's beyond me.
It's clear.
Um,
It's clearly something that's happening for them to make mention of that
I
in
guess
France
so.
and
I guess
Italy.
so. Like, too
You
many
know.
fools. Yeah.
Hmm.
And then you can't litter, sit, or eat, or drink near a church. You
Well,
can't do
I
any of those
yeah.
things. Or a public building.
Well, I definitely, hey, I can't stand litter bugs over here, so I'm definitely all for that,
Downtown Manhattan, they got a church where there's like chairs and stuff right outside, like right next to graves, and people sit there and they eat their lunch, near Wall Street. I don't know. You remember that? There's
I
like a
remember
church
that church.
there.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that Catholic
People
church.
to
Yeah.
this day eating around the church, eating on the steps of the church, going into church with their sodas, taking
Mm.
pictures and stuff like that. So, yeah, you know, people are going to do what they're going to do until somebody says don't do that no more, or arrest you for doing it. Yeah.
Hey, it's definitely necessary for them to be having these laws and stuff. But
Oh,
man,
you can't photograph official buildings in military areas.
right, only with special permission. I seen that too. I was like, oh my
Yeah.
God. So none of that trying to, take pictures and stuff of them,
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and in China was pretty interesting. So they even give you tips on how to avoid the risk of being overcharged in for taxis. So of course they say use only reputable taxis, avoid the unlicensed one, do not agree to multiple passengers, negotiate your fares before or request that the driver use the meter. Make sure
Mhm.
you request that you're provided a receipt, and request that the driver removes the luggage from the trunk before paying the fare.
Oh,
But
okay. So if they're
yeah,
not happy with you, they'll drive off with your shit. That what you say?
yeah, pretty
I'm
much.
like,
That's
can
what
you
that
take
sounds
that
like.
out before I pay you? Because I don't want you to pay when you just drive off with my stuff in your car.
But let's talk about
I
their
see that
penalty.
happening a lot.
Of course, yeah, especially if they're
Mhm.
like, "Oh, you didn't give me no tip," or give me, it could turn into a big shitstorm to tell you the truth.
Mhm.
So, but cannabis, oh my goodness, that offense is very severe. So, offenders, if you're caught with 5 kilograms or more, you can receive the death penalty for that. So,
Death
like,
penalty.
yeah. So yeah, definitely trafficking. Drug trafficking over there is definitely out the question. And
Mm-mm.
And then also, you can get anywhere from 5 years of imprisonment to a life sentence as well.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
nuts.
But with,
Oh, why I heard what I learned about them is that okay, so basically they can stop you randomly as a tourist and check you for if you have any narcotics in your system. They can just pick you
wow.
up. They can
Mm,
random drug test the foreign nationals.
that's
Yeah,
crazy. Can
I
you
I I
imagine?
wouldn't I wouldn't go there. No.
Yeah, because who's to say that they don't switch something and be like, oh, we found they came up dirty, you know?
Yeah.
And then
It's too
also
much. Too much.
children there at the age of 12, you're charged as an adult.
Yeah, I got a 12-year-old that doesn't even know if she's happy or sad. I couldn't possibly expect more from them as an adult.
Hmm.
There's too many adults walking around like that already. Like I'm gonna fault her for her new life, her only 12 years on Earth.
Hmm.
That's bananas.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm.
So, man, and send a question to the listeners. Have you traveled anywhere? And if so, what was your experience like?
With
Definitely,
the laws that they had, yeah, I find that to be interesting.
it
You
is
know,
interesting. So then I did some more digging. Um, Singapore, you can be arrested for chewing gum.
they don't like smacking.
Like, wow. You can only chew the gum that's bought from a doctor or a registered pharmacist.
Registered pharmacy. Ah, okay. So like if you're trying to like stop smoking or something like that.
Right, like nicotine, that type of thing. But it's like if you want some Wrigley's Juicy Fruit, it's not happening.
Mm-hmm.
Do not take that with you because that can result in serious jail time.
Okay. So I'm looking at Turkey, right? They have laws that ban the sale of turkey of carcasses on New Year's Eve. Like you can't. I, that's
Hmm.
crazy. So it says this is a law designed to protect Muslims from the influence of European tradition. So wait, so I guess because of that's just odd. Like so that's just odd. You can't sell turkey carcasses in Turkey on New Year's Eve because they don't want you to do European things, I guess, traditions and stuff like that. And then it's forbidden to visit cemeteries at night uh, or wearing high heel shoes. I think you mentioned something similar to that.
Yeah, Greece. Well, Greece state that's the law they have in Greece. You certain areas you cannot wear high heels.
Hmm. I just feel like a lot of the laws that they have are really limiting on a certain the female demographic. It's not you know a lot of countries that you go out to it's similar to the experience that the female that truck driver lady.
Mm-hmm.
It's like certain countries you can't you have to wear pants because if you're wearing a dress you're asking for rape. It's just like these weird rules that give the okay for things to happen to you, or the weird rules that you know allow you to be imprisoned.
Well, wow. I'm glad you brought that up about the weird rules because here's this about with another situation in Dubai. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so having sex outside of marriage can land you in prison in Dubai. So, looking at the www.cosmopolitan.com, I
Mm-hmm.
found there was a British traveler woman who told the authorities she was gang raped, and instead of them arresting the men, they arrested her for having sex outside of marriage.
But she was raped. Do they?
She was raped, but they charged
Mm-hmm.
her with sex outside of marriage. And I think probably like the men over there in the country know that. So I guess that's why, like, with all the influencers that may go to Dubai and they may be subject to porta potty parties and everything, even if they go to the authorities, they'll still end up getting arrested because you still had sex outside of marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And they also did that with a Ukrainian woman who was pregnant who went with her boyfriend to Dubai, and they both were arrested for sex before marriage charges.
So, but the thing is, if they came in like that, that's a whole different story. They're
Nope.
basically they're not
Ignorance of the
looking at it
law.
from that point of view.
Ignorance of the law is not an excuse.
Okay, I guess that's like going to a country and not covering your hair
Oh, yeah.
when all the women cover their hair, something of that nature, right?
Yeah. So we have a comment from Old World Order.
Wow, that's amazing, man. I'm learning new stuff. What country is it where that's a rule? Where if a woman doesn't wear pants, trousers, she gets raped? That's wow. I never knew there was a country where they had a rule to rape women that don't wear pants. That is wrong, man. How come I haven't heard of this before? I'd have thought that would be everywhere. That news. That's seriously bad stuff, man.
Well, it's not a rule. It's more like no protection. So basically, if this woman didn't wear pants, because pants are hard to take off, so this guy had to struggle to rape her. So if she's not wearing pants, right, and she's wearing a skirt, they look at it as you gave him easy access to it. It's your fault this happens to you. You have to take precautions to protect yourself. But
That's
there's
sort
been
of
women who have been raped with pants on, and they said, "Well, it's your fault because it was easy to take off." So it's basically, you lose both ways. It's you damned if you do, you damned if you don't,
That's sort of
kind of
like the
thing.
unspoken rules over here when they be like, "Oh, you got date raped." They'd be like, "Oh, well, what were you wearing? Or who was you with? What was you drinking?" It was sort of like the
Hmm.
same. It's like the same thing in other places.
Yeah, because
So
you get those questions anyways, and you experienced a negative thing, but if people are asking you, well, what did you do? Did you turn him on? Did you do this? And so I honestly think that it happens everywhere. It's just the way it's how women are treated. Some worse
yeah.
than others, you know.
Let's see. New World Order. I mean, Old World Order has another comment.
Wow, that is crazy, man. Other people have other cultures and laws that are different to ours. That's mad. What should we do about it? Do you reckon we should invade their countries and make them change their laws? I think we should, man. That sounds very bad. It's very bad. I can't believe there's other countries in the world that haven't got exactly the same laws and the same culture as we do, man. It's crazy.
Well, I,
Invade their countries. Well, look, we don't support that here on the Wine Fine
I want to
Podcast.
suggest it.
We're just sharing
Yeah.
some information here. We wouldn't necessarily suggest that because that's going to be a can of worms that we do not want to experience. So,
Yeah.
no, we do not
So
recommend that we invade countries and make them change their laws. Old
I
world order.
say it's just more like an eye opener. If because some people are well traveled and they know these things, but there's a large majority that don't know, and they have goals to go to certain places, these popular places, and you know they need to know. And I think before you hop on a plane to go somewhere, you really should do your math, and figure things out. Like I was listening to this lady talking about when she the first time she flew to Africa, she didn't even know what country she was going to. She just flew to Africa, and I think she was doing some like uh what's the word when you're working with a church or something like that. So I
Missionary
don't
work.
even missionary work. She didn't even know where she was going, and she was a black woman, and somebody who was going to their home asked her where is she going, and she didn't even have any idea where she was going. or if there was
Mm.
running water, or if there was this or that. She didn't know nothing. And I feel like a lot of people just hop on planes and go somewhere without doing their homework, getting to know the place, trying to learn a little language. They just go, the way the movies make it, when you got the American in another country and they don't know a lick of English, and they're, do you speak English? They don't try to even know the language, which I think frustrates people in
Oh
other
yeah.
countries. So at least try to, learn the language, let alone the laws and how to protect yourself and where to go and who to call. I think, that's like one of the most major things that you need to do before you leave your country. A lot of the
Yeah.
things that I was looking up was from other countries going to other countries. So a lot of my notes are from Australia, talking about
Oh
going to
yeah.
France, going to Mexico, going to US, Italy, even the US, and the dangers of going into the US. Like there's no real laws protecting the LGBT um, community. You know, that from discrimination. There's nothing really protecting you. And Australia might have different uh, rules on drinking. So if you go to the US, you have to be 21 and older. Just because you can drink at 18 over here doesn't mean you can do that over there. So you can go to jail for that, or get a ticket, whatever the case may be. You can have problems over there. you know
Mm.
so the
Also,
way Yeah, go on.
with Australia, swearing in public is, you go to jail for that. In Queensland, Victoria, South Wales, do not
Hmm.
swear in public.
I remember on my vacation with my dad, we went to the Bahamas and he had cursed at us. And somebody one of the little, cops there was like, don't curse because you can get a ticket for that. So, you know, just being aware would help a lot, to keep
Mhm.
yourself out of trouble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-mm-mm. And then Thailand, vaping or e-cigarettes could get you arrested over there too.
Okay.
Yeah, that's. Or this was a funny
All I
one
see
for
is
Texas.
those vaping cartridges on the ground as I go like for walks at the beach or something like that. You can see the cartridges all over the place. Like I don't even see cigarette butts anymore. I see vaping cartridges
Yeah, I see.
or whatever they smoke out of.
When I'm walking
Yeah.
around in my neighborhood, with my little clip, handheld thingy where you could pick up trash and everything, I see a lot
Hmm.
more black and mild, clips than anything. And then I
Hmm.
just say to myself, like, why can't these people just throw this stuff in the garbage? Like, why are they throwing it down on the ground? And so if they're setting, just throwing the vaping cartridges on the ground, that can, that's littering. So yeah,
Littering.
yeah,
If they say, okay, so those vaping cartridges got like metals and stuff like that
yeah.
that go into your lungs, and they're saying, hey, don't vape. I can't imagine the leakage that's going into the ground, the metals and oils, and yeah, just like, as technology advances, it's like a new type of garbage to
Mm,
pick up.
pretty
Yeah.
much. Let's grab this comment from Old World Order.
Nah, I'm playing, man. I agree with you though. People should learn the cultures before they go. Like if I go on holiday, I want to know the laws. I thought most people would do that, especially if they're going somewhere that isn't in the Western Hemisphere. You should definitely check the laws out. And if people are
Definitely.
going on holiday to crazy places and not knowing the law, kind of their fault really, because you should know where you're going.
Yeah, you're just setting yourself up for failure. you
Whoa.
know It's like going to
But
somebody's house and not taking your shoes off and
yeah.
wondering why they want you out of their house now.
But here, listen
Never
to
to
this
return.
one. So after 10 p.m. in Switzerland, it's illegal to flush the toilet.
We need to look into that. Why? What is happening? What is happening to their sewer system that it can't be flushed after 10? I want to
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty odd as well. And And this is probably like the last of the stuff that I have on my list. Wearing camouflage is banned in Barbados, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and a couple of other Caribbean countries.
Is that because most of them wear camouflage? Like they're military, they're police, they're like they do that already.
Mm, I don't know. They didn't really like give details on that. They just basically said wearing camouflage. Let's see. It's completely banned, even if it's like not in khaki colors. So even if you try to have like those pink camouflage, that's, because they take it as a
Oh.
person impersonating military personnel for criminal purposes. So that's why they're,
Mm-hmm.
against that.
All right. So they said the toilet flushing, it interrupts people's sleep.
Oh, okay. I was like, what if you're in a deep sleep?
Yeah,
'Cause I know if I'm in a
they
deep
don't like
sleep.
their sleep interrupted. That's for sure.
Mm-mm-mm.
That's what's up. Ah,
So it's like
but
I guess they don't go to the bathroom at night. They don't wake up at night to go to the bathroom. Maybe.
well, if they do, they don't flush. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people they flush for number one. They flush for number two, but not one. So I just can't imagine going to a toilet with number two in it and then wanting to do my own number two, and then it splashes on me, which I know
Ugh.
is very descriptive, but I usually it's when you wake up you do the number two anyways. I can't imagine you doing it in the middle of the night.
It depends. Like if you ate some fast food that you had no business eating, it could definitely happen. They used to say that would happen about White Castle burgers. I haven't experienced that, but
I haven't experienced it. I have good luck
mm,
with White Castle, but I haven't seen White Castle in a long time. So if I see one, I'm definitely gonna buy me some White Castle and wait for the eruption.
I
Yeah,
don't. uh,
I figure give it some time. Maybe it will affect me finally. Maybe because I ate it so much in my past that it didn't bother me, but now I have a seasoned stomach. You know, maybe it'll react that way.
mm.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
And then another funny one. Uh, in Hawaii and Honolulu, you're not allowed to sing karaoke loudly after sunset.
After something like nobody wants to hear that shit. That's why they need to have those rules in New York, specifically the Bronx. I'm just saying, like nobody wants to hear music all the way into the middle of the night. It's just people want to sleep.
Yeah,
There's no rules out here for that.
I think there are rules, just then they're just not enforced.
No, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, I say
Mm-mm-mm.
1 o'clock max. Have your party. After that, go to sleep, please. Close
Oh,
close it down. Shut it down.
but here's some more. Like with Singapore, right? It's illegal to connect to another person's Wi-Fi. You can get up to a $10,000 fine or worse, and face up to 3 years in jail.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Something about New York. I don't a New Yorker. Let's just say a New Yorker. I don't know. That happens a lot out here. Between the Wi-Fi, your Netflix account, any streaming service, somebody's somebody's using it. You know,
Yeah.
that's gonna be hard. That's gonna be hard.
Well, I
You
guess
gotta pay
maybe
for your
just
own Wi-Fi.
designated places. Just designated places. Just don't be like in somebody's neighborhood and trying to use their Wi-Fi. But I feel
Hmm.
like you have to put in passcodes to get people's Wi-Fi and stuff.
Some people don't put passcodes. Some people have horrible codes.
Hmm.
For your Wi-Fi service. They just make up. just as badly the passwords that to log into your bank account. They probably use those same bad passwords and get hacked and don't even know somebody's sitting on their services using it. So
Oh
you gotta be
yeah.
creative.
And if traveling to Sri Lanka, it's frowned upon to take photos in front of a statue of Buddha.
Okay.
And they're not they frown also at visible tattoos of Buddha. So
All
if you
those
got
yogis
any,
out there.
yeah, if you got those tattoos on you of Buddha, that's you may want to make sure that's covered up in Sri Lanka.
Mm-hmm. Well,
It
I
doesn't
mean,
say
is
anything
it
about
against the law or
imprisonment.
is it just not? What?
It's just frowned upon.
Oh, okay. Like, I don't got no tattoos, but I can't imagine a tattoo would get you in that much trouble.
I mean, yeah, yeah. Gotta be. Definitely gotta know those laws. Know these places that you can't drink in certain places or drink after a certain time. Like
Mm-hmm.
Thailand again. I mean, I guess because Thailand's a real hot spot to travel to. So
Yeah.
you're drinking outside of 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and then after 5 p.m. In between those times, you can get arrested
For no reason.
for
Just
buying
because you're outside.
alcohol, trying to buy some alcohol.
Okay. I get anxiety when I'm outside after 5. It's like a childhood experience that I had where my parents used to get home around 5, so I had to be in the house by 5. If I wasn't close enough, I get all anxious and stuff like that. So to this day, 5 o'clock comes by, I'm like, it's dark outside. It really like makes me upset when it's dark at 5, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm not going back outside no more. I'm just like, I'm good. Well, we need dinner. We'll order it, or I just don't do outside after 5, let alone in somebody else's country.
Yeah. And more craziness, if you're witnessing a fight in
Mm-hmm.
Dubai, you could face jail
Witnesses?
time. Yeah, if you're just witnessing a fight, like just say like in a hotel lobby in
What?
Dubai, you could get arrested for that.
No,
You could face jail time for that.
that's crazy. What's the reasoning behind that? I don't get that. Wait, you're supposed to
Well,
break up the fight? No, because then you're part of the fight.
let's see. Yeah, they
No, I
don't
don't
give no
understand.
information on that, but that was a situation where a
So
21 year
somebody
old,
fight and run the opposite direction.
yeah,
Don't be a commentator. Run,
nope, definitely not. Or you better report it.
run. I didn't see the fight. How can I report something I never saw?
Yeah, that's true.
I ain't see that happen. No, I don't know. What are you talking about? What fight? You didn't see the fight? No, I wasn't even there. I've been here this whole time. Nope. I can't imagine how anybody gets justice if no one sees a fight because they don't want to get arrested for seeing the
Hmm.
fight. It must be really hard. There's injustices in the United States. I can deal with that here. Go to
Yeah,
Dubai.
yeah. It's a whole another ball game when you're dealing with other countries.
Mm-hmm.
I think Missy, sassy trucker, she probably wouldn't have been a bad idea to kind of do her research about how rental companies are because they're very well known for that. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
If
It's
she
a
had
type
looked
of
it up, she
people.
would have found out they're well known for that, and she probably would have just called a taxi or had somebody drive her.
Yeah, I don't even think I would want to be driving in a country like that.
I'm gonna tell you this: my cousin in Nigeria, he drives a taxi, and he takes down everybody he drives. He takes their number down. So when they come back to Nigeria visiting because they're visiting family or doing work or anything like that, they call him. He meets them at the airport. He safely gets them around Nigeria.
Oh,
And I
good.
think building relationships. When you successfully make it to another, go to a country and stuff like that, building relationships, getting to know people, talking, not going to their house, but just, communicating with them, and knowing they exist. You have a safe place to turn to when you return. Or finding people that who know somebody before you go there, so you'll have something safe to go to, without having to use taxi services that might be front, something that might drive you away and take you to sex trade or anything like that. I think it's just best to really plan your vacation out before you just walk up out of your house and go on vacation somewhere. Like, I remember when I went to the Bermuda, and I found out the bus routes, ferries, because I didn't want to waste time. We only had a week. We went on a cruise, and then we were going to be there for a week. We only had a week there, so I wanted to make sure I knew all the places to go to. I found out there was an ice cream parlor next to the Crystal Caves that you can go to right after you get out, because it's hot as fuck in the caves, and they're so deep and scary. You know what I mean? So, I think when you go somewhere, do your homework, because you'll have more fun when you know what you're doing in the first place, when you're planning it out. When you're just going there, out on a whim, oh, I want to go see the Eiffel Tower. There's so much more to it. So when you're done doing those things that you thought was big, and then it's over, either being bored in your hotel, or you're going and walking down a corridor that you don't know is not safe. So it's best to, know what you're doing. And all I did was go to Bermuda. So I'm just saying, 2 hours away from New York.
That's it. It's just 2 hours away from New York.
Yes, it is. Plane flight away. If you're taking a cruise, it's a week, round trip. But, do your homework. I know a lot of people do, but there's just some people who just like so excited, and I don't think they paying attention. Look at what that basketball player, something that was
Kobe
minor in the
Bryant.
United States had her in jail almost indefinitely. She's lucky she got out. Just because, and what was it, oil, or was that actual weed? What was that?
It was like a hemp oil, cannabis oil that she had.
And what do you do with cannabis oil? You smoke that, or
Yeah, she was smoking
you
it.
rub
Yeah.
that? You can smoke. I didn't know you can smoke cannabis oil. I thought she was rubbing it on her knees.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm like, why are you gonna go to somebody's country and not know that that's illegal? Especially somebody's country that hates America. Like, for a good fact, between the Cold War, and somebody blatantly telling you how much they don't like you, why would you go with anything that would get you in trouble?
People do it all the time, They, yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those keeping it real goes wrong situations.
I
I'm
ain't
like,
keeping
this is
it
what
up.
I do. This is what I do. This is how I talk. I talk to people like this. I'm just gonna yell at him. Nah,
Mm-mm.
people got their laws. The people there, they have an upper hand over you. You're in their land. God knows how long it takes to get out of there. The chain of escape, between, the consulates, the airport, the connection flights, all that takes time. You really want to struggle to take time to get back home doing what you think
Nope.
you want? Or you just go there and enjoy yourself, enjoy the experience, the culture, because you're following the things that they're doing. And if you can't do that, stay home. I can't do it, because I'm a fuck up somewhere. And that's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that a rant? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a
I
rant,
don't
but it's a
want to fuck
good
up
one.
and find out, so I just won't go. I'm fine with that. I will die on U.S. territory, U.S. land, and get. My friend gave me this T-shirt from wherever the hell they were at. That's what I'll always get, a gift from somebody who went somewhere I didn't go, because I won't go.
Yeah, or I just go to
Yeah.
countries that is not as,
No,
crazy like
I
that.
I won't
You
go.
know, I get certain laws or rules, but then it's just certain other ones. It's just like, come on now. I can't flush the toilet after 10 p.m. That's crazy.
I think there's more to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's gotta be more to that.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, besides people not, getting sleep, maybe a sewer issue. Yeah,
Yeah, that
I
sounds
can't.
more believable a sewer issue than.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Oh man, we got 5 more minutes. We got some good information here. I hope somebody could listen to us and be like, "Oh wow, I didn't know that," or "Yeah, let me look more deeply into these countries that I plan on traveling to."
Mm-hmm.
And then also, we also want to also make sure that there's a lot of countries that were the countries with the worst trafficking for human trafficking. So we got
Mm-hmm.
number one on the list is Belarus, which
Where's
is
that at?
like that's like around the Russia area.
Wow.
Um, yeah, mostly remaining, yeah. And then Central African Republic, that's another bad place that's well known for human trafficking.
Central
China,
Africa?
yeah. China, Eritrea, Eritrea, Iran, North Korea, Russia, Sudan, Syria, and Venezuela.
Wow.
So, definitely, let anyone here that you trust, let them know that you're going over there, kind of like look out for any danger signs, be careful with people that are too friendly with you, especially in these countries, because they
Mm-hmm.
definitely could be setting you up for the okie doke.
Okay. Let me tell you about that friendly part. Some people don't believe in nice people, and they want to see how nice you can be to take advantage of you. And then, because I'm telling you, that movie I watched with Idris Elba, Luther, and that was the bad guy's defense is that you people act nice, but you're not really nice, and I can make you not do nice things. So I think sometimes being nice just doesn't pay. Seeing the baby on the highway and wanting to stop. Like, you really have to think twice before you be nice, because people are really looking forward to you being nice so they can take advantage of your niceness.
Or was
So
there a baby on the highway? That is the question.
I'm just saying, you know, theoretically.
Hmm.
Baby on the highway, person stranded and their car is not working. Remember Silence of the Lamb, the guy couldn't carry the couch and the lady was like, "Oh, do you need help?" I'm like, that man did not need help from me, and I would have went straight into my house because he can handle that shit on his own. There's no way
Mm.
I'd have been helping this man help him get his couch into a van and being pushed into the van with the couch that I was helping him with, so he can use
Yeah.
my
But
back
like, oh no,
leather.
no, we're gonna turn around the other way to put the couch in. No.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? Like, being nice don't pay all the time. You really have to be discerning, because you get caught out there, you know, people will find
That's
a
a
way
wrap.
to get you. And they always getting the nice people. What's that song? Only the good die young.
Yeah.
So that's all I gotta say about that.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So man, we got some good topics in here today. Got some good tips for the viewers and listeners out there. We got a comment real
Mm-hmm.
quick.
Really have to think devious and think people are out to get
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of like the paranoia, and you don't want to be paranoid, but you do have to think of the certain scenarios so you can at least have an idea. I feel like people um think they don't realize how human they are and how fragile they are and how things can just change in a second, you know. So people are just like doo 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 through life, and shit happens, and then why me? And it's because you were easy, you were doo doo dooing, you weren't focused, you weren't paying attention, you weren't being discerning. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
Hmm.
That is definitely important. So think twice before you break laws in other countries, because then that could mean a very hefty fine for you or even jail time.
Intentional or not.
Yeah. So
Yep.
man, we are at the 9 o'clock hour.
Yeah.
So Azima, where can everyone find you before we skate out of here?
You can find me on TikTok and Instagram as Azima the Only. That's Azima the Only. And you can find me on YouTube and Facebook as Ozidi Wellness and Fitness. That's Ozidi Wellness and Fitness. And where can we find you, Jovani?
Oh, so yeah, so you can find me on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Camp Jogo Fit. That's KampJogofit. And also subscribe to our YouTube channel on YouTube at the Wine Fine Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can find older episodes there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So,
It's been
man, it's
real.
been great. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. So, everyone, enjoy the rest of your day, your evening. Thanks so much for tuning in, and peace.
Bye-bye, y'all. Have a good night.
Bye bye.
Dramatically greater risk of drug and alcohol abuse.
Yep. I
That's
believe
from
that a
the
million
Department of Health
percent.
and Human Services.